Kenmore City Council is now in session. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Present.
Councilmember Marshall,
Present.
Councilmember Kugler,
Here.
Councilmember Shrubnik,
Here.
Councilmember File,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Kane,
Here.
Mayor Herbig,
Here.
all present.
Would you all please stand and join me in the flag salute?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Unless there's any objections, the agenda will stand approved as published. No objections, the agenda is approved. Next, we have two presentations. First presentation, staff introduction, building official Brian Hampson, introduced by Development Services Director Samantha Loyuk. Please tell us about the stranger.
Good evening. We're so excited to welcome Brian Hampson back as building official. This was a position that was combined from two positions into one. So welcome back, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see everybody. Good to be back on the public side. I took a little time off, went over to the public, private sector, but decided, that the public is probably a little bit more up my alley. So coming back to help out part-time here, as Sam mentioned, the building official, building inspector, stuff like that. So hopefully help get caught up a little bit. I know that the previous inspector has been gone for a couple months now, and so stuff is a little bit behind. So helpful. I'll hopefully help get that caught up. But no, it is good to see everybody, all your faces. And I have been following some of the council meetings online. So a lot of good stuff has been going on lately.
Well, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Excited to have you back.
Thank you.
Next up, Life Jacket Loaner Station Project presented by Eagle Scout Owen Jones.
Yeah.
Good evening, council members. My name is Owen Jones. I'm an Eagle Scout in the Troop 582 located in Kenmore. And I'm also a recent graduating class of 2023 at Inglemoor High School. I recently constructed and installed a life jacket stand located at the new Ayjuariz Park in memory of my childhood friend, Ryan Payne. I did that as my Eagle project. Ryan Payne, it was my childhood friend who drowned in 2019 on Memorial Day in Lake Washington. And so kind of inspired me to install safety equipment for the public. And I see people go out every day. I work at the What's Up paddleboard and kayak rental place, and I'll see dozens of people out with no life jacket. And so I decided to give public access to just basic swim safety equipment. And so I constructed this, if you see on the board. This is what the final project looks like. All the lumber I got donated from Dunn Lumber, as well as the roofing. And all the life jackets were graciously donated by Seattle Water Sports as well. So here's a picture of us constructing it. We had a total of 15 people, I believe. We dug 2 holes, made sure everything was level, constructed it right on the pathway so it's easy access. And it's only been there for a little bit, but I've already seen multiple other people in the community bring and donate life jackets themselves. And so it's really cool to see the community all coming together just for basic safety equipment, as well as us mixing concrete and digging the holes. It took a long time with those, 90% of it was rock, but it was very, very thankful that we got it in. But yeah, I built this in memory of my friend Ryan, because I feel like just giving someone the access to basic safety equipment can be life or death, especially on the water, because you never know what's going to happen. Even if you've been swimming all your life, there's still always a risk. And so just giving people them basic equipment can save lives. All right, that's it.
Thank you very much. a really beautiful way to get back to your community and to remember your friend. Thank you. Yeah, Councilmember Marshall.
Where is he? Owen, that's an outstanding contribution to your community. It's a work that's going to last a long time, and I'm sure it's going to save lives. My kids played in the Inglemoor Junior football with Ryan. We remember what a great kid he was, always thinking about others. So I think you have done him very proud, and you have spoken well and done well. Thank you on behalf of everybody.
All right. Next on the agenda, where's the fun?
All right, well, we're happy to announce that we had our first ever Juneteenth celebration last week, and want to thank all of our members of the community who came out to celebrate Juneteenth with us. We had many highlights of the event, including we welcomed Ava Thomas, who's the Director of Racial and Educational Justice at the North Shore School District. And we had community booths, King County iVote, Arts of Kenmore, Step It Up, and the King County Library System brought buckets of Black authored books for all to borrow. And the Kenmore Heritage Society had a wonderful educational and interactive booth. Inglemoor High School's Black Student Union Club offered face painting. And our own DEIA advisory committee was creatively capturing why our residents love Kenmore as part of our Love Where You Live project. And we had music, poetry, readings, and then performances from several amazing and talented groups, including this one. You see here an African drum group. And we also had 5 Black-owned businesses at the farmers market. And so we're so happy that we celebrated this wonderful event, and just appreciate our community coming out. And we look forward to having our second annual one next year.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is, excuse me, public comment. We welcome our community members to the council's meeting. In this forum, the council does not engage or dialogue with the public. The primary role for the council is to listen. We will hear from our on-site guests first, followed by our virtual guests. If you're online, please use the raise hand feature now if you wish to speak. All guests must address their comments to the mayor and city council. The clerk will acknowledge your request and call your name when it is your turn. Your time will start when we confirm that we can hear you. Please state your name and city of residence for the record, and keep your comments to the allotted time. We will not split your time with others or reset your time, except by express approval of the presiding officer. Screen sharing is not allowed. You can submit materials to the council or clerk in advance. Please not comment about pending development projects in which the council will make future decisions, as those are quasi judicial matters, and council members must limit their communications about such matters. This meeting is being recorded. Thank you for taking the time to express your comments. Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Herbig. We currently have 6 individuals signed up for on-site public comment, and we will start with Jeffrey Chisholm, followed by Milton Curtis and Patrick O'Brien.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Chisholm. I've lived in Kenmore for 40+ years. I've come tonight to ask you to take 3 very specific steps to ensure a fair election for position number 7 on the city council, something which apparently did not happen in 2019. I'm thankful for the look on your faces that this is going to be a surprise to 6 of you. You've all seen the sign? Did you know there's 2 of these? There's 2 versions? The version that's over in front of the library says that it was paid for by the campaign to elect Karina File for Kenmore position number 7. You know what the sign says? Paid for by badass feminists of Kenmore. The one right out in front, you can see.
Mr. Chisholm, you need to speak into the mic. Thank you.
Yeah, paid for by badass feminists of Kenmore. So we have 2 signs. They violate RCW 4217A. Badass Feminist is never filed, never registered as a political committee. We have no idea who's behind it. We have no idea how much was contributed to it or by who, what they spent the number on. We have no idea how many badass signs are out there. We do know this is at least the second election this has taken place because underneath the re-elect sign, it says elect. So these were the signs that were used in 2019 and are now being recycled in 2023. I did just kind of a rough, as I drove around, looked at about a dozen signs, about 50-50. So it violates several provisions. I won't take a long time going through all of them. You can't have an assumed name. You can't campaign under two different committees. You can't coordinate with an independent political committee. All of these provisions have been violated. I will leave copies of the complaint that I filed with the Public Disclosure Committee for all of you to have. But the signs are clearly illegal. Either Karina File is using a front organization or she's coordinating with an unregistered committee, and therefore it's not competitive. This is a very competitive race. Karina already has a huge advantage. She's the incumbent. She has the name recognition and she can reuse her signs. She shouldn't have the advantage of being able to post illegal signs in the city of Kenmore. I'm requesting that the city declare these signs illegal, instruct no one to post any more of them, and allow anyone to remove signs
Thank you. Your
in
time
the
is
city
up.
of Kenmore that say badass feminists of Kenmore on them. Thank you.
Milton Curtis.
Hello, I'm Milton Curtis, living at 6407 Northeast 202nd Street. First of all, I would like to say thank you for the safety here. I lost a nephew paddleboarding on the Columbia River, not wearing a life vest. So just last year. So this is a really important project. But the main reason I'm here is to talk about the process that was used to approve the pride flag on the City Hall steps and the permanency of the painting. So first, the timeline. On Monday, May 22, the motion was made, quotes, to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Kenmore Urban Pride Committee and the Arts of Kenmore to install pride-themed art on the City Hall property, end quotes. It was uploaded to the agenda just hours before the regular council meeting, which didn't give the council or citizens time to prepare for the discussion. Monday, June 5th, the motion was discussed at a special meeting, but no public comment was allowed. Monday, June 12th, at a regular meeting, several citizens spoke against the motion and requested time for citizen comment. June 19th, council meeting was canceled. This week, I've heard, but I don't have confirmations, the painting was supposed to occur this week. This doesn't feel like an open, transparent, and representative process with just a few hours notice before the motion was discussed the first time and no citizen comments when the motion was discussed the second time. It looks like someone has an agenda and isn't interested in hearing from the citizens of Kenmore. The members of the Kenmore Urban Pride Committee and the Arts of Kenmore are not elected. The city council members are elected. We need you to hear our thoughts. The art is designed to be present for at least 10 years. It is not an insignificant action that can easily be reversed. My request is for the council and city manager to put a hold on the painting and to request a public hearing to get a better idea of what the citizens of Kenmore actually want. There's no state or federal deadline to do this. We have time to hear what our citizens want. If a majority of Kenmore citizens want the pride flag on the City Hall steps, then I will go away and you won't hear from me anymore on this issue. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts.
Patrick O'Brien. Followed by Lori Sperry, Glenn Rogers, and Van Sperry.
Pat O'Brien, Kenmore. I agree with everything you said, Milton. And you know, what 50% plus one vote would have been able to put that flag up there, but there was no public vote. There was not any public comment in a timely way when you brought this up. And why is it that only one art project, all having either the street corner, the sidewalk, or the stairs of our own city hall? Why were they the only art projects that advanced for consideration? There are so many artists here in town with so many different things they could have done. So that was horrendous. That was as bad as your maintenance facility agreement, which now is costing millions and millions of dollars. So go back and review that. Second, you've got all kinds of illegal work happening at Lake Point. They're trying to cap it. There is Venturi. When you have water flow, it sucks surface water out from where there's a known hazmat site, which is Lake Point. And you can't cap it because every time rain comes down, it goes into the subground where the PCBs, dioxin, and the proven poisons. I mean, when they destroyed the houses to make I-5, the state, not Kenmore, not King County, put all the debris, asphalt, everything into a dump there. You used to be able to throw a bottle off the back of the Morrison building into the lake, and that's all fill. It's 100 feet deep of PCBs, dioxins, and poisons. And now you've hired Brian Hampson again, who is a true black hat, who will do anything you ask of him to probably go in and say, okay, maybe Stephanie's not comfortable with doing some of the things it's going to take to just cap that and not address the absolute, the pollution is unbelievable. Top 10 brownfield in the state. The city is wringing its hands. Oh, we'll just play along. That's wrong. And Brian Hampson is not the guy to oversee that if you want to have any credibility. I would like to know what he's being paid, if he was reintroduced to his golden parachute of retirement. Well, I want more details because he left. And I talked to several council people and they were not enthusiastic about him working here. And somehow he made it back. Who made that possible? Who asked for him to come back? And what sort of dirty jobs are involved to get him a position in this city again? That's just crazy. And then lastly, David Baker is on the Sound Transit Board, the Shoreline Hearings Board, and there is tit for tat on things. And he said that he has to abstain for issues in Kenmore, but there's a lot of horse trading in government and he should not be on one or the other of those boards. So do what you got to do. David, you need to step down from one of those boards. Thank you.
Lori Sperry.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Testing 1, 2, 3. I worked on my timing this time. So my name is Lori Sperry. I live in Kenmore and I've served on the Kenmore City Council for 12 years. During the time I served, we had the privilege of building the City Hall building. Tonight, I'm here to comment on the Pride Project to pave the front steps in City Hall based on the Pride flag. And I recognize that this has already been approved and will likely go forward. I would hope that you would still be open to listen to the people of the public and the members of the community, particularly people who've lived here a long time and have an investment in the community. I am not against anything or anyone, but I am for good government. And I think there's some issues here. Number one, the general public had no opportunity to comment on the project. According to the agenda bill, the idea was developed during a meeting between staff and Kenmore Urban Pride Committee. The item was not added to the agenda until the day of the council meeting on May 22nd. There was nothing in the title to indicate the nature of the project. Yet council voted 6-1 to move forward on the 15-year contract with the Arts of Kenmore. Number two, I think it's a terrible precedent to allow a special interest group to paint their flag on City Hall. If the goal is to be diverse, equitable, and inclusive, what are you going to say to the next group that wants to put their mark on City Hall? It could be Black Lives Matter, Ukrainian refugees, Hispanic Catholics. The possibilities are endless. If you say no to that group, what kind of message does that send? I don't think it would seem very fair. Third, what are we really celebrating here? Is it even appropriate for the city to be sponsoring these events and this flag? So the whole LGBTQ, et cetera, movement has changed recently with the emphasis on the transgender and the targeting of the children. Particularly parents are very concerned about the ideology that's being pushed on children as young minds are being formed and being told things about, you know, you don't have to be a boy, you don't have to be a girl, that kind of thing. More and more people are becoming aware of this. There are people who have gone through these surgeries as minors and are detransitioning and are telling their stories, and it's just horrible. And so I don't feel personally that something that potentially could harm children is something we want to celebrate. There's also several lawsuits pending even because of the medical care. In a recent poll by the Daily Mail, 6 out of 10 registered voters believe the transgender ideology has gone too far. That includes 6 in 10 of independents and half of 18 through 29 years old. In conclusion, Kenmore City Council is flying a
Thank you. Your
pride.
time is up.
Oh, guess I didn't time it right.
Glenn Rogers.
My name is Glenn Rogers. I live at 19823 64th Avenue Northeast, Kenmore, Washington. Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and citizens of Kenmore, I'm here to address the contract covering the painting and steps of City Hall. I think you've heard it all this evening, but I'm going to say it again. And hopefully it'll go through somebody's ear and get things redone. I'm not again here to address the bigger politics of this topic, but I am here again to address the process you, as our elected city council, used approving this contract. When I speak about stairs, I'm wondering, does this also cover fire hydrants, utility boxes, sidewalks in our city? And what is the duration of this contract? I've heard 15 years, I've heard 20 to 25. Really? You put out a contract for 15 to 20 years? I don't believe that you did, but that's what I'm hearing. According to the data shared on June 5th, and I quote, the project premise is to paint the exterior stair risers, not step flats, at City Hall entrance with a depiction of the nationally recognized chevron pride flag. It's known. So how you can say this isn't anything to do with pride? It is, because you're putting up the same flag that those folks put up, and that's wrong. That's an interest. Why was there no consideration for something that honored our vets and those who had lost their lives in battles to save our freedom? Why? Why? It could have been a multitude of ideas that would have not caused the negativity that this will be stirred up by your one-sided decision. The reason I'm here again is to get into your faces that I, like the rest of Kenmore, was not given an opportunity to share our thoughts on this project. You addressed it on May 22nd for the first time, giving the council, let alone the public, doggone the public. 1, very little time to study for the presentation. 2, consider the ramifications of this project. And 3, approved the project for the city. It is my understanding that you approved this project on May 22nd, the same night it was presented. What was the hurry? Better question is, what were you trying to hide from the public? What is it? I'd like some answers because I haven't heard anything that says why you did what you did. I can go on. Again, I ask, what was the hurry?
Thank you. Your time is up.
Trying to hide. You have an opportunity to bring this project to a halt. It's not too late.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Your time is
Do
up.
the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Van Sperry.
Hello, I'm Van Sperry. I live at 18920 71st Street Northeast here in Kenmore. I'd like to keep this debate focused on the occurrences again on Monday, May 22nd. Apparently the city council does have a right to do what it wishes, covered under what is known as political speech. I would like to say that what occurred on Monday, May 22nd, was an example of what may be called I'm trying to find a better word than dirty politics, but I didn't bring my thesaurus. So I'm compromised here. So what basically happened was a suppression of speech of the citizens of Kenmore, not allowing them to bring arguments pro and against why this should be done, why it should not be done, which I think is very reasonable. I think we've seen the consequences when speech is suppressed. We've seen it in the past, the COVID pandemic, and the disastrous outcomes of many of the policies that were put in place, and how so many people who were highly qualified to comment on these policies, their speech, their voice was suppressed. And as a consequence, these policies went through, and we are now seeing some disastrous consequences in education, health, et cetera, that came out of those policies. So whenever a decision like this is made, to play, again, dirty politics where you just get up there and kind of lambast and undercut your opponent and just get out ahead of them, not give them a chance. I would not, I think it has its place. It's not something I would like to see that would go away, because sometimes we do need to fight dirty. But when we do, we need to be very much aware of the consequences of our decisions. And especially much of the points have been already addressed, so I won't go deeper in that. So again, this is my request, my hope that you will consider delaying this project, allowing the citizens of Kenmore to have their voice, have the debate, and to be aware of your own responsibilities when it comes to suppressing the voice of others and the consequences that that may have. Thank you very much.
Mayor, I have no additional on-site public comments. Can we move on to virtual?
Yes.
If you are virtual and like to give public comment, please use the raise hand function now. We currently have 4 individuals with their hands raised, and we will take them in this order. Janet Hayes, followed by Stacy Valenzuela, Vicki Grayland, and Elizabeth Mooney. Janet Hayes, go ahead.
Do you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Janet Hayes, and I'm a resident of Kenmore, and I'm making my remark directly to the council with a warning for citizens. This dredging project that is being proposed is just as damning and dangerous as the prospect and position this city manager and Brian Hampson put our community of Kenmore through when WashDOT and the city of Kenmore were going forward to allow the construction demolition of the old 520 bridge to be brought by tugs and barge to the berthing channel in Kenmore at Lake Point property to be rubblized here on the shore. It took the citizens, not the council or the staff, months to find the truth to stop them. The testing results showed arsenic was in high volume in that concrete that was going to be coming here. We found the testing that was done incorrectly. The city chose to believe WashDOT. Public records from King County showing the arsenic that the public would have been exposed to did not even reach the people, and we would have been the collateral damage. The city, of course, when the truth was laid in front of them, changed course. The same thing is happening again with this dredging project. The city staff are now once again going to expose the public to untested sediments being stirred up and spread on our shoreline. They are trying to do anything for development, anything for commerce, anything for density. Always the dollar, not the citizens. We have had to fight through every horrid thing that would have happened in Kenmore ourselves. And we were denied by the city to even take our public records that we'd found. So I'm asking you to please think about this at your retreat. So important. It's will be collateral damage. Someday will be collateral damage, and it's sickening. Thank you.
Stacy Valenzuela.
Good evening, Stacy Valenzuela. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. As the news breaks that after all these years, finally cleanup should start for the sediment and shoreline waters along Gaswork Parks, we are reminded that we have the same contamination here on Northeast 175th Street, the landfill turned industrial and sediment dumping grounds, or that is a MOTCA site with consent decree. Who is ignoring responsibility of health and safety, and who was pressured to state that Lake Point project can go forward? We know and we're told children, adults should not spend an hour on that site or dip their feet in the water, let alone live or play there. Leaking waters, layers of contaminated sediment, similar to Gaslight Park. Soil needs to be properly tested, removed, capped, then made a municipal park. With periodic testing of the sediment and posting for transparency and the water as well. We hope you would not go backwards with those who pressure, bully, suppress, and belittle our residents, but step forward with resident inclusion and transparency in Kenmore. The city could be an example for climate change while engaging climate action. We, the residents, need you to look deep in your heart and remember who you represent. Enough residents have come forward through meetings, comments, and emails on who we see represent our community's requests and what is our priority on issues on fairness, environmentally, and financially. We hope you bring forward and show your integrity that you stated through the campaigns. Yes, we love where we live, and that's why we come forward again and again. But we look to you to keep the feeling of love for Kenmore in our hearts. Thank you very much.
Vicki Grayland.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to start with the land acknowledgement. On behalf of Kenmore, we acknowledge that we occupy the traditional ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically the Duwamish tribe, a people that are still here, continuing to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering, dialogue, and learning space. We ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land who are still here. I'd like to comment on the LGBTQ painting. I just wonder, I'm compelled by my religion, Roman Catholicism, for standing up for people's rights. And I just wonder if some of these people who are so concerned with the rights of the citizens to object to this are not really against gay people in general. I don't know what's in their hearts, but it seems to me there's something more than just procedure. I would like to, I was not going to mention this, but Mr. Michaelman opened the door last week, saying that the National Socialist German Workers' Party was responsible for Sorrow and his family. Yes, we had, that the leader of that party got a lot of his cues for how to treat people from the way that this government treated Native peoples. And I'd like to say that the rainbow flag I saw on Twitter, tweeted by Joe Biden, was by way of putting the White House in alignment with the Democratic Party. If you all are Democrats on the city council, which I think you all claim to be, then you have to be in alignment with the party's stance on LGBTQ people. They are for these people. And thank you. That's all I have to say.
Elizabeth Mooney.
Hi, Elizabeth Mooney. I can't tell if you see me, but I see you. Do you see me? Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, can you see me too? Because I just want to start so that if you don't mind starting me at 3 minutes, I want to acknowledge what's behind me.
We'll restart your time, Elizabeth.
Thanks, Mayor Nigel Herbig. If you can see me, I have brought a coho salmon that comes from our Lake Washington watershed all the way to the East Coast. And I want to just thank Vicki Grayland for her acknowledgements, because you have a lot of responsibility to get us back to causing no harm in our environment and in our culture. So I was going to start off just by saying that I really support Janet Hayes's, Vicki Grayland's, Stacey Valenzuela's, and also partial part of what Patrick O'Brien has pointed out, because of the environmental problems in our city. Among other properties, Lake Point, also known as Kenmore Industrial Park, and other sites like the Birthing Channel. The Birthing Channel is not a federal channel. It is where the barges, Cal Portland barges, dock, and they want to start dredging there. There's a deadline of July 3rd to make comments about this optional determination of non-significance. So we've come in to talk to the staff, but basically it seems like toxic emergencies always popping up, and public health and safety should be our main priority. So Lake Point and other sites have toxic legacies that won't go away probably in 1,000 years. So our family is hoping that you will take that into account, not only for people who are swimming and kayaking in our sediments, but being prudent. I know Brian Hampson is coming back. Welcome. I'm glad that you're working with Samantha Logyuk. And then in my last minute, my highest priority often is causing no harm because of toxins. But some of my friends, including Lori Sperry and Glenn Rogers, are coming in and talking about the Rainbow Steps. And I just want to tell you that if you can see this, this is considering Matthew Shepard, a choral suite. 2 of our church choirs just sang this at the Bellevue Church. And the point is that I think the purpose of the Rainbow Steps is to teach people to cause no harm to other people. Matthew Shepard was murdered because he was gay, not because of any other curriculum. He wasn't trying to teach children this or that. People deserve to be able to go into a public place and not be murdered. So it may be that Kenmore got a little jump start and that we just need to have more conversations to allay some of the fears. And the final song that we sang is all of us. We need to, only in the love, all of us.
Thank you. Your time is up. Mayor, I have no additional hands raised at this time.
All right, thank you, everybody, for coming to public comment. Next, we have the consent agenda. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Seconded, Councilmember Weil.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The consent agenda stands approved. Next, we have one item on the business agenda, resolution number 23-400, adopting Kenmore's 2023 fee resolution version 2, waiving permit fees for new accessory dwelling units, presented by Development Services Director Samantha Loyuk for adoption. Ms. Loyuk.
Good evening. Tonight, I don't have a presentation or a slideshow or anything, just pretty straightforward to amend the fee resolution. So midway through the year, we have resolution 23-400, which will eliminate the building permit fees associated for new ADUs, so new accessory dwelling units. And this is really in an attempt to encourage diversified housing options like ADUs. And it's coming from 2020 when we amended the KMC to allow for more ADU opportunities. So this is really an extension of that. We estimate that by the end of the year, if revenues continue consistent with last year, that from now until the end of the year, the potential revenue that we would be missing out on would be around 13,000. And so ADUs are already exempt from impact fees. This just goes a step further to eliminate the building permit fees. So it's building permit, plumbing, and mechanical. There's a small fee we collect for the state that we give to the state. We would continue to collect that. And City Council would have another opportunity to review this as we update the fee resolution each year, typically in November. So you could choose to add it back. We recommend leaving it on there for a couple of years so we could see if this is encouraging ADUs or what impact this could have, but that's up to City Council. So with that, I ask for your review and approval of resolution 23-400.
Questions? Any questions? All right, seeing no questions, the chair will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 23-400.
So move, Councilmember Weil.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Marshall.
Yes, so I think that we've got to take account of fiscal responsibility. We're looking at, I think in a couple of years, some important budgetary decisions to be made. And $13,000 may not seem terribly significant, but I think that our staff time is worth something. Their time putting into this is worth that. I think that we've got to really look at where we're going to have to be cutting items in order to be fiscally responsible in the next couple of years. And we shouldn't skirt anything that is this significant. I think it's just particularly impactful, and we got to look at all the different ways it affects. Also, I thank you for reminding me on the impact fees. I had I'm sure we were all informed, but it wasn't at the top of my conscience that we don't charge impact fees for ADUs, which I think is absolutely logical. And at some future point, we'll definitely want to readdress it. But anyway, for fiscal responsibility, I think we got to take some of that and keep the fees. Thank you.
Councilmember Shuptack.
Just a quick question and a comment. So just confirming that while we would be waiving the fees, they would still have to submit the permits for all of those things, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And I actually feel pretty good about this. We've gotten lots of comments from the public about supportiveness of ADUs and, you know, how do you make the process more straightforward? I mean, it is the kind of infill and development that I think our community supports. So for that reason, I am supportive of this. Yes, it will be a small financial hit, but I think it's worth it in this case.
Councilmember Kugler.
I also am generally supportive of the idea of encouraging more ADUs to be built, but I'm just wondering, was there a study to show how our fees compare to other cities that are seeing more ADUs being built?
There was not a study done on the fees. Our fees, typically every year we look at the fees and find them comparable and then provide the information to council. I think there are other reasons why ADUs are maybe more popular, but that's in other cities, but that could be something maybe zoning code related.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor.
Can you tell me how many fees make up that? I mean, how many applications would make up that $13,000, please?
Sure. The $13,000, that was an estimate from now until the end of the year. And so that's based on about 3 permits for ADUs. So that would be the building permit, plan review, inspections, and then plumbing and mechanical and the site plan review for 3 ADUs.
So essentially 3 applications, each application, each person that's applying would be, it would be about $4,000, about $4,500 or so for that permit fee that we're choosing to waive. Is that correct? It's, and I'm just, so my comment for council is it is a significant amount per ADU that fee currently stands at. It's also an insignificant number of applications, but it does build into, I'm very supportive of ADUs, but I see sensibility in maintaining the fee. Thank you.
Councilor File.
Thank you. This is a great time to be reviewing the ADU permits as we will be having an update to our ADUs period with the state law update, right? So, you know, I absolutely support this program. I definitely would support more in the line of if a family or individual fell within, you know, under the 50% of the area mean, for example, with a free ADU permit. It seems like what we're looking at is just straight across the board. Yes, we want to see building. I want to make sure that we're not looking at ADUs as the only answer and looking at the limitation of the 2025 deadline for implementing missing middle housing as something we can push off and accept this now in this capacity, in this way. So what I would have been more supportive of something with a free and reduced kind of lunch qualification level or under 50% of the area mean. I'm still supportive of this in its capacity, given that we have a lack of affordable housing, we have a lack of workforce housing, and we have a lack of people to fulfill local jobs who are looking for housing that they can afford. And so they're moving out further to get to areas where they can afford and then relocating jobs near where they're at. So for this reason, I will support. Thanks.
Any further comments? Yeah, this kind of reminds me of some of the ways that we set taxes. Sometimes our taxes and our fees are a way of us articulating our values. One of our highest priorities right now is is housing. And this is one way to make one form of housing slightly more affordable, which is not a bad thing. So I'm supportive of the resolution. Any further comments? Seeing none, clerk, please take the roll.
On the motion to approve resolution number 23-400, seconded by Councilmember Shrubnik. Councilmember File.
Yes.
Councilmember Shrubnik.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Councilmember Kugler.
Yes.
Councilmember Marshall.
No.
Deputy Mayor Kane.
No.
Mayor Herbig.
Yes.
With 5 yeses and 2 nos, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, staff reports.
I have a couple of brief items. The first item, and I know that Councilmember Baker may talk about this too, but we attended, he and I, the Association of Washington Cities Conference last week. We're happy to represent Kenmore in the Parade of Flags and at the conference in general. And I'm delighted to have joined the AWC board representing Kenmore for the next 2 years. So I'm just excited about that. And then I know you'll probably talk about the retreat on Friday and Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you all there.
Councilmember reports and comments. Councilmember Baker.
As the deputy city manager,
Can you point the microphone towards you?
as the deputy city manager mentioned, I was at the Association of Washington Cities meeting with our assistant city manager this past week. And basically just being there representing the city. I was not on the nominating committee this year, but my presence was known, so.
Councilor Marshall.
That was an awesome Juneteenth celebration this last weekend. I think, no, it was this weekend, it was on the market day.
Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday. And I was thinking, okay, normal market. I think I had almost forgotten, which is absurd of me, but I went down there and heard the music, saw the trucks. It was just great. So thank you for that. I think the community enjoyed it. I did field one question, a complaint of lack of access, vehicular access, but we did go over that the person could get there by about a 5-minute delay or something, and it's once a week, et cetera. So that was about it. Otherwise, it was a wonderful event.
Councilmember Kugler.
I also went to the Juneteenth celebration and market, and it was lovely. So thank you to the staff for organizing that. I'm also looking forward to the retreat this weekend. Thank you.
Councilmember Shrubnik.
Yeah, I was able to stay just for a little while to the Juneteenth. It was great, and I'm a market regular, so I'm excited about that every week. And I attended last week the King Conservation District Advisory Committee meeting. It's every other month, and just wanted to let you know they are working hard on their strategic plan. We saw an early version of it, and their rate structure. I think they will be proposing a slight rate increase. So we're working with them on what does that mean? Why would they do that? What is the rationale? So yeah, so more on that to come. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Councilmember File.
Thank you, Mayor Herbig. I attended the Shoreline State of the City address. That was a really important update, given there are regional partners and neighbors, and they're doing some good work there that I was able to share back with our faculty in last week's one-on-ones. And I also had a meeting with the Kenmore Heritage Society about the possibility of a resurgence of the holiday celebration and what that would look like led from a nonprofit entity. And we'll see how that comes along with next steps. And I, of course, attended the opening of the the farmer's market last week and Juneteenth. That was a really great memorial opening. It was beautiful, very well attended. I really am just struck by how when we create that space and we create greater equity and recognize the greater diversity in our community, we actually see that representation happen in the moment. And it's good to see that. I also attended the Seattle Pride Parade on behalf of the city. Of course, that works with promoting our city and one of our council priorities. And that was also a very good event. And, you know, today there are some unique comments made. And why at the time of public comment, it is our duty to sit and listen. I will also say I stand firmly with our position as a council that we have taken on together. And where there is ignorance and bias and hate in the community, there's work to be done. And I'm very proud of our diversity and equity policy, our resolution, and our continued work. I do notice that it's been a while since we've had any continued council diversity and equity training. I believe, given some recent comments at additional meetings we've had, even by some of our city members, it would be appropriate that we engage that work. It's not just the staff's job to engage the work, but it's our job as well. And it's our job to also facilitate the work within the community if we are to lead a welcoming, affirming community. And for our community listening at home, many of our federal grants these days are interwoven into the requirements of our committed work on racial equity and what that looks like, what our policies are like, and what we're doing in our cities, and then the lack thereof. So if we want to create a vibrant, beautiful, thriving community, and we want infrastructure grants, we have to do the work. So we are doing the work, even if it makes some uncomfortable. There's space for everyone in this community.
Deputy Mayor.
It's been a full week. And I have to say, I'm thankful that we've had robust public comment. It's important that we hear from you, your views, your perspectives, and we recognize the diversity of opinions and impacts of our decisions. And that we as a council work together and make decisions. But we learn each time that you come forward. So personally, I'm thankful for the comments. They fill me with more information about the importance, each and every one of us, of our role on this council. We're not always going to make the decision that fits for every single person in our community, but we're doing our best. And my understanding with the steps is the intention is one of beauty and embracing all people in our community. But I can share that I've heard community members that don't feel included in that decision and want it to be heard. So that's heard. And I also want to acknowledge, as I did the night when we talked in, was it June 5th or 6th? We had that special meeting because we had concerns that were raised today. And we wanted to discuss it. There were still things. It was a nuanced, big decision. The comment about the longevity and time frame was something that I had concerns about. And I understand where those comments came from. So I just want to say, community's been heard here. On the other hand, and the most important thing that I think that has come through this week with Where's the Fun and our community events is that our community is doing great things, embracing each other, bringing people together. And I'm personally thankful for that. I've had a big week on a personal note, nothing to share here, but I've had some personal things going on where I wasn't able to engage with those activities. But hearing the warmth and love that came out of those is something I'm certainly grateful for. And I'm just going to do one more comment on public comment and how important it is to hear from our community. One of my favorite things I saw in the news this week was, and I'll just read the headline, Sick River needs your love and attention. There's a survey, and we need to hear from our community about their feelings and the importance of the Sammamish River and the work that's about to commence here. 3.5 years ago, when I started on the council, that may have been like a glimmer in the eye of someone. In the past 3.5 years, this council has set environmental stewardship and climate action as our top priority, from number 10, from the bottom of the list to the top. The actions of this council choosing to be visionary and looking at the broader impacts of the things that are taking place in our community, in our ecosystems, are incredibly important. And for us as a council to maintain our vision and direction and leadership with other agencies, including King County and the state of Washington and federal government, to ensure we get the funds and the work done here that is critical to the future of our life on this planet. It's incredibly important. So I want to say thank you to the city of Kenmore for putting out a press release that called the critical nature of the sick river that we live with, that we have a responsibility to steward, to restore, and make healthy for the future. So thank you, and I'm thankful to work with each and every one of you on this council. We all bring a very unique perspective here that's important. I do have one more thing. I want to thank Owen Jones. I want to say that when I saw what he did, it brought a tear to my eye. It was one of the most meaningful acts of love and protection that I have seen. We will never know how many people are saved by those life vests. That's the thing about life vests. You don't know. You don't know who's saved. But we're thankful those vests are there and protecting our community. Thank you.
I have two things I'd like to discuss. One, the Veteran Seniors and Human Services Levy is coming up for renewal on the August ballot. There's been some interest in the council taking a position on that. The election is coming up very quickly and we don't have another meeting until the 10th of July. I would, if there's a second, like to at least have a short discussion about adding a resolution in support of the VSHSL to the
I second that.
10th. Okay. So I guess my question is there any opposition to putting that on the discussion? Okay. Staff has the direction there. Two, and this is partially my fault. Especially when we have resolutions or motions that are going to be in front of us, I would really prefer if members got their questions into staff before the motion is made. Because once the motion is made, we're supposed to be in purely discussion mode at that point, explaining for or against or why we're voting the way we are, not going back to questions. So I would ask the folks, when we have a resolution or a motion that's going to be made, get their questions to staff out ahead of time or during that portion before we make a motion. So not a big deal. And I've been fairly loosey-goosey with it, but I saw it today and it just reminded me that it's not a best practice. So anyway, with nothing more to come before us, the Kenmore City Council is adjourned. No.